Thanks for your company on Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyne. We're looking again at the tourism sector, an important sector in the economy and one that has been bringing in a lot of fruits, yielding a lot of results. The Minister of Tourism and Entertainment, the Honorable Wickham McNeil, is back with us. We thank you for your company. Minister, good to be back with you again. This important area of the linkages to tourism. So yes, the investments are booming, but this should mean more opportunities for our own manufacturing sector, more opportunities for us to retain more of the tourism dollar. How has the ministry been tackling that?
Well, let me just say to you that I fully agree with what you just said. You know, we have had other booms in tourism before. We certainly had one in the last decade when the Spanish hotels came.
Yes.
But if a criticism could be made, or would be made, is that we may not have benefited as much from it as we could have. We had tremendous benefits. I mean, when I move across the sector, I meet people in the hotels, they're working, there's a lot of benefits, but it could have been more. And one of the things that we have focused on at the ministry is to see how we can maximize those benefits. And we've set up in the ministry what we call the Linkages Hub. It is a unit there which job is to maximize the impact of tourism on the economy. So
that has been done under your tenure?
That was done under my tenure. It started approximately a year after I was in office. It took some time to build it up, and it's a fully operational unit now, tremendously successful. It's chaired by Donovan Perkins. It has
private sector.
Private sector, yes. Persons from the private sector. It has persons from the GHTA, agriculture, manufacturing, and what they do is they look at how they can deepen the linkages between tourism and all the other sectors. And we started with things like the tourism farmers markets in the different resort areas. We went to what we call the speed networking, which was like a speed dating. And what we did was we got senior people in the tourism industry to come, and we set up, the first one was at the Half Moon, and we put all of them there, and we had the businesses, Jamaican businesses that wanted to do business with them, subscribed. And what would happen, they'd spend 15 minutes, explain what they had, what their companies were doing, meet with senior people, and then you move on to the next one. And it went around. Well, it was sold off. I mean, it was so successful because people want to get to showcase what they had, that we did a second one in Kingston, and they've been real successful. We've done the Christmas in July, where we have gotten a lot of these small businesses, and we call it Christmas in July because what we wanted to do was for the hotels and other industries to use locally manufactured goods and sell, so that, and set up the catalogs and different things to be sold not just in the tourism sector but across, and especially at Christmas time. In terms of agriculture, where there's a tremendous potential, we have had a close working relationship with the Ministry of Agriculture, both with the former Minister Roger Clark and with Minister Derek Kelly. But we have met with the members of the sector. About 6 months ago, we met with a group of the bigger agriculturalists in Mandeville to really put it out there, because what we want to do is, as much as possible, produce all the things that are consumed
in the hotels,
in the not just hotels, attractions across the industry, and the economies of scale are now there. And so what you're doing is you're creating a market. This is like an export market, because they're in and out, creating that market, and we have the capacity to produce the quantities at the quality and the proper price. But the economies of scale have to trip in. So it's a process where we're working, and where technical assistance is needed, we do it. We are doing all the demand studies, the different things at the hub now. And we're trying to see how we can assist where needs are for financing and for development, because there are areas where we're not now addressing
Yes.
where there are opportunities.
Will the Commerce Minister want to explore the matter of whether in fact the hotels are taking up these offers? We're looking at the tourism sector, a very important sector, but its value is increased by the linkages. We take a break, but we'll be right back.
Our land has been suffering from immorality.
This is Ibo Cooper of Third World, lecturer at Edna Manley College, chairman of Jamaica Reggae Industry Association, saying to Jamaica, whether young or old, look around you and see what you have right throughout the year. I have now filled out 9 passports with traveling, and I've been to every corner of the earth, and there are people who would want what we have. They beg me to come to Jamaica because right now in the Middle East is war. Right now in the north is ice. We have a beautiful place. Please preserve it. Love one another. Like how my granny did tell me to love people. The lady who don't have nothing to eat, a shut in, make sure she alright. The people them who can walk like me and you, make sure them alright. I see a youth the other day try to rob a blind man. My youth, what you do? We couldn't do them thing there. Help the blind. Help the pregnant lady. Love, you can't beat it.
Let's join hands and hearts together and make Jamaica a land of love.
A tourism focus on issues and answers. The Minister of Tourism and Entertainment, the Honorable Wickham McNeil, is here with us. Are the hotels buying more things? Do we have the indication that in fact more produce, more services from Jamaica are being consumed in the hotels, in the tourism industry?
No, absolutely. As I said before, the Linkages Hub has done tremendous work. Anecdotally, I'll tell you something interesting. One of the areas that have bedding
Yes.
has been on the table, and the sector uses a lot of beds, accommodation
Of
sector.
course, yes.
And in the early days, there
Just
were real
import.
difficulties because they would import.
Yes.
And, you know, there were always a question, could we produce the quantity in the time?
And also the price competitiveness.
And the price competitiveness. So, 2-3 years ago, more and more this barrier has been broken down. And there's no doubt that we are. And there was one particular project at one of the hotels in which they used local beds. And on time, they delivered on time. The quality was superb. The price was very competitive. And once we started to break that barrier, it more and more the sector realized that this is an area where we're very competitive. There's one property, Half Moon, which is supplied by local manufacturers. So they've done it, and I mean, first class quality product.
Yes.
And so some visitors came from the United States and stayed at Half Moon. And having gone back to the United States, had actually contacted the hotel, and through the hotel made contact with the local manufacturers who are now telling us now, because they want production, because they will look at the price, the quantity, the quality. Those are the opportunities that we're opening up. Once you go into a sector like the tourism sector, we're competitive not just amongst ourselves here. This is a world-class competitive industry. So when you are able to satisfy all the necessary requirements for this sector, you can do it for all. And it opens up the entire Caribbean.
Absolutely.
It opens up all the other areas. So the opportunities are there, and what you see happening now is a relationship between the manufacturing industry and the tourism industry that has never been better. And a lot of it is because of the relationship that is now developing, because of just information and because of the opportunities that are rising.
What's happening in the attractions subsector, Minister?
Oh, well, you know, Jamaica, when you look across, certainly the English-speaking Caribbean, I think we're unparalleled in what we offer as attractions. And almost every year, you see either new attractions or expansion of existing attractions with new offerings. And quite frankly, it is another area. It can almost be looked at almost as another linkage, because what you really want to achieve is for your visitors when they come here to spend as much as possible, and for you to keep that money in Jamaica.
Here.
That is your key. So it is a real positive. And one of the things that has happened that's really good for the industry is the fact that under the new omnibus, under the new fiscal incentives regime, attractions are specifically included. So before, if you were doing an attraction and you required incentives, you went and asked for a waiver. Due to waivers, it had to go to the ministers of tourism and to the Ministry of Finance. No longer a requirement. So these are where you take those impediments out, you take the discretion out. Once you are able to pass a sort of
so it's a transparent, rules-based system.
Absolutely. And that is what investors like.
Yes.
They come in, what do I need to do?
You do it, yes.
And you get it done.
No man getting any favorite position because him no minister and that kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. And that is how we want this country to develop. That's where we're going. I think people have not recognized the impact that some of the changes that have taken place over the last few years will have on Jamaica going forward in the future, because our system is more of a first world system. We're moving, the right things are being done in terms of the economic reform program.
Thank you very much, Minister. We have enjoyed our 2 weeks with you. Certainly, there's been a lot of information which has been given. Minister of Tourism and Entertainment, Honorable Wickham McNeil, spending time with us on Issues and Answers. Next week I'll be back. Until then, Ian Boyne wishing you a pleasant day.